Hello there, friends. This is Rochelle Insurance Girl, and this is Just for the Health of It. Today I have a really special guest that I'm bringing to you. I love bringing you the experts, and the goal is always that we're making sure that we're spending those healthcare dollars wisely, that we're taking control of our health, and that we really do know our options out there. So in the spirit of that, let me introduce my special guest. I've got Joe Millen, Total Impact and Performance in Palm Harbor. Welcome to the show, Joe.
Well, thank you very much.
Pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very much.
And I'm so impressed with your outlook, your mindset, and the way you run your practice. It's not, guys, this is not that one-size-fits-all type of physical therapy. This is the type of physical therapy that I've been talking to you about. I do a lot of research on the back pain industry. So with that said, let me just ask a little bit about, tell the audience a little bit about your background. I know you've got over 35 years in working in physical therapy. So tell us a little bit about your passion and how that all got started.
Sure. Well, I graduated from physical therapy in 1985, so I've been doing nothing but physical therapy in that period of time. I'm what they would call a manually trained physical therapist, so that means we do mobilizations, manipulations, that kind of things, as well as gives us a more mechanical way of looking at the body. We also do a lot of neuromuscular kind of training. Essentially, what got me into physical therapy is I had the experience as an athlete injuring my knees in high school, and then because of that injury, I was exposed to physical therapy, saw how important it was for me to get through having rehab, and then I also had some family members who were in rehab, so they encouraged me on into that field. Since that time, I've had the opportunity of really running my own practices for many years. I've worked in a corporate situation for a very short period of time, long enough to realize I can't survive in that environment. And not because I can't do the work, but because for me the work is always about the individual and who we're looking at. In a corporate environment, it's typically a production-oriented environment, and you're measured on how many units you do, how much money you generate in the day. And in running my own practice, obviously making a living matters to me. I have to be able to provide for my family. On the other hand, I think we should be providing value to the people that we're working with. And in the world of physical therapy, that means I should be helping you to be healthier for having done it. One of the challenges in the back pain world is that we kind of get a one-size-fits-all mentality. Or we fall into, if my solution is a hammer, everybody's a nail. So if I'm a surgeon, surgery is the option. If I'm somebody who does manipulation is my cure for the thing. What's nice about coming from a physical therapy standpoint is we're really exposed to a wide breadth of possibilities for treatment and solutions. The key thing is to come back to the person's anatomy and physiology that's presenting in front of us. The challenge for you and any of the individuals out there is we don't learn our own anatomy. We don't learn our own physiology. So most of what we learn from people is a recipe. They're giving us a do this and you'll be better. It's kind of like, mother, may I do X, Y, Z. And my little caveat that I would tell people is, well, how would you know that it's okay to do that? And most people would answer, well, I don't know. Or they go, well, because it hurts. So often pain is a indicator for people, don't do this. But I would tell you, you should probably evaluate pain from the standpoint of, what can I learn from it? Can I establish in this my ability to recognize how I personally influence it by how I sit, how I stand, how I move? Because we're often sold this idea that, well, I can fix your back pain in 3 minutes, or this or that. And that may be the case, that I can get you out of pain, but I can't change your habits in 3 minutes.
I'm so glad you said that, because very often we're looking for quick fixes, we're looking for instant gratification. But I bring it back to, let's take control of our health and let's take control of our bodies and get to know our bodies. So that's why I really love the way you practice. some of us have been through physical therapy, you know, post-surgery, things like that. You can really see the difference when you work with a therapist like Joe here. It's not, you know, you're going to do the exact same little exercises, and there might be a tech that's just going to go from one table to the next, and you see everybody around you going through the exact same, you know, exercises and therapies. So I love that. You know, we need to get to know our bodies. We need to understand that, just like you said, you know, we're living in our bodies 24/7.
Right.
And that time we spend with our therapist is really where we should learn how to live in those bodies, right?
Exactly.
So that is the innovation you've been able to bring, you know, really just the mindset and the innovation that I just love so much with this new program that you're putting out there.
Right.
So tell us about the Millen Method and how you're able to help so many more people with technology and, you know, just really taking it to the next level.
Well, so one of the things that I was trying to do is figure out how I could reach out to people and give them some of the important questions to ask themselves. And I'm a perpetual student, but I'm also trying to be a perpetual teacher, right? So using the digital media, we just created a program that we call Heal Your Back, and it's using what I call the Millen Method, mainly because of people who are close to me have recommended I use that. It's really more of what I call Sens-Able solutions, which is you're using your senses to be able to, one, use your reasoning, your rationale, your logical thought. And the other is your body has senses. Your sight, your proprioception, your be able to feel your movement. And if you can cue in to both your logic, in your reasoning, and your sensation, by combining those two things, you can become your own guru, so to speak. Now, that doesn't mean you don't reach out to a guru like me who's studied these things, but on the other hand, you know that you're now able to take responsibility because I'm going to help you understand both the reason and logic behind the exercise, and at the same time, your ability to perceive that what you're doing is giving you the result you're looking for. So the digital program we put together, we're calling Heal Your Back, will take people through a series of short lessons to teach them how to connect to their body, start to develop that communication process. My philosophy in the Millen Method is you should be looking at exercise and movement as a form of communication with your own body. So most of us, when we do activities, and it's the way we've been taught throughout our lives, is that we are monologuing, meaning I'm telling you what to do and I expect you to do it. As opposed to a dialogue where I have to not only work on making sure you understand what I'm trying to say, I hear back from you what it is that you interpret from what I said, not repeating what I said, but just saying, okay, here's how I understand it. Then I have to help you translate that to how you communicate with your own body. Because the challenge is you've never been asked to do that. It was just, so you've only been told, well, do this, so do this sit-up. And this is the way you should do a sit-up. Except, nobody said, can you feel this muscle? Or can you experience where that's tightening in your neck versus in your lower back? Or can you differentiate between your hip and your back? We don't necessarily, I mean, even something as silly as, let's, hey, put your hands on your hips. Most of us, when we say we put our hands on our hip, are putting our hands on the top of the pelvis. The hip is actually lower than that. And so a lot of the information that we've been taught over the years is not accurate. So the first thing that we try to take people through in this digital program, and we also do online sessions with people who can't get to our clinic in Palm Harbor, is to kind of guide them to this initial communication process. So the digital world has allowed us to be able to reach out to people and start this process of helping you really learn to understand your body. And then that gives us the opportunity to do sensible things. And it's interesting because the athlete side of the world, we get so used to effort. If I can't figure it out, let me just push harder. And so when that happens, it's kind of having the door stuck. You know, okay, well, I'll just push harder instead of turning the doorknob, right? Or feeling that the doorknob didn't turn the thing far enough, and then I got to kind of figure out how to correct that. In our bodies, we tend to do the same thing. The door feels a little stuck, so let me shove it open. Well, we tear tissues that way. We damage things. So the probably the subtle difference that I see in the way the program that I'm doing for back is to start putting you back in charge of understanding your own body and making you that consumer. So just like you're talking about with your clients and the people that you're communicating with out here in the digital world, I want you to be responsible, but I want to help you be responsible. It's one thing for say, hey, you're responsible for your health, but then not give you the ability to make intelligent choices for yourself.
So really being able to empower people, it's kind of an intuitive type of thing that we're developing as we learn to communicate with our body in that dialogue. And that's really what I love about this. You're empowering people with the information, just like you said, rather than, do this, do that because we say so, because we're the experts, because we're the doctors, right? That we're learning to communicate and heal our own body, just as the title said, heal yourself. So that is awesome.
Well, and it's fun because if you think about it from the standpoint of where most of us would get frustrated. I'm an expert in the field. I've been doing this a long time. But mainly because with each and every person that walks in my door, I treat them differently. And I treat them differently between session 1 and session 2. One of the interesting things that kind of comes back to me is having done it so long, I have people that come back to me 2 or 3 years, 4 years later. And it's always fascinating for me to hear what they took out of what I was teaching them 3 or 4 years ago. One, I was a different person 3 or 4 years ago, different clinician, doing a little bit different things. 2, what they heard may have not been what I really wanted to convey, but they latched on to it, and that's what that's why for me this communication thing that we're talking about and having a dialogue, because I know as a parent, I can tell my kids something, but how did they interpret it? What did they do with it? And then did I even take the time to go revisit that later on to make sure that, hey, I think what I was trying to convey before, I don't necessarily agree with anymore.
Right. We know more now. We're always growing. We're always learning more.
Yeah, and yet at the same time, our kids are stuck with, well, this expert in my life told me this thing, and so it must be true, right? Or something along those lines. Or we learned it from a teacher or a professor. And the challenge is that if we are developing ourselves as learners, as somebody who's capable of asking questions, and this is where I would encourage people who, whether it's your physician, your physical therapist, whoever, if they're not willing to educate you along the way about the decision making that you're making about your health, then look for somebody else. And I will tell you, if I'm going to a surgeon to do a particular job, who they're the expert guru in that area, I might cut them a little slack on not necessarily being a good communicator, because they're a really good surgeon. On the other hand, if they're your family doctor or diagnostician, it's not my fault that you've chosen to see 500 people in a day, so to speak. I'm coming in with my own questions. I need you to take the time to answer my questions. If you can't do that, then I need to find someone else and need to make sure that I'm in a position where I can make those sensible choices for myself. I can be reasonable and rational. And that doesn't mean that just because I'm asking you questions, I'm questioning your knowledge, I'm questioning your capability. I'm asking you questions because I don't understand.
We're seeking, right?
I'm the one. So what's unfortunate is we often turn the tables, and if you think about it from the clinician, and we make it about ourselves. Oh, you're questioning my authority, my understanding. And you go, no, they just don't necessarily, you haven't made a compelling argument that they understand yet. Or you haven't helped them see the world a little bit differently so that then they can make the right choice. So the BACK program was really, my approach to this is to start with what I think, and I get the benefit of seeing a lot of clinicians. I see a lot of doctors, a lot of physical therapists, a lot of personal trainers, a lot of movement specialists. And what I will tell you about us is that we learn anatomy, we just don't learn our own. So if we don't know our own anatomy, and what I mean by that is our ability to isolate and differentiate and find and do things, what is the rest of the world doing? How would we expect anybody else to really understand that? So we have to begin with this idea that let me help you understand your own anatomy. And so what I'm looking for in a clientele are people who want to know.
Right.
People who want to take charge of their health, people who want to be responsible. And I often say, look, I'm a low-hanging fruit guy, so I like the movement people or the people who are actively seeking good, positive health changes. It's hard sometimes to convince somebody that they're worth investing in. So if you haven't decided that you're worth investing in your own health, that's where you got to start. You got to make that case for yourself. But if you're somebody who's made that choice, then how you invest those dollars, whether they come from your insurance company, they come from your own pocket, you realize the person who's benefiting is me. So the reason I like people coming out of their own pocket with their own money to come see me is because they're really critical consumers.
They're vested, that's right.
You know, so they're going to go, look,
right.
Either I got from you something I thought of was value and I'll come back and do it again, or they don't. And so that challenges me to provide value. Versus, my insurance company is going to cover 6 visits, so I'm going to go wherever they'll cover.
I'll show up for 6 visits, right? And
so
just showing up versus being a participant, right?
Yeah, and holding that clinic accountable for providing, or that clinician to providing you with a level of service that you'd be satisfied with. I mean, to me, you wouldn't go spend $150 on something and then not get a good meal and not get a good experience. You would want to go, look, that's, it was a bed to sleep in, but it really wasn't a very nice environment. Why would I do that? But people go, well, the insurance company's paying for it, so I don't care. No, that's not good for anybody. We have to be good consumers.
It's really not, and I talk insurance all day long, but what it comes down to is, are we spending those healthcare dollars wisely? It's not just about putting that money into the premium, and just like you said, sometimes it's about coming out of pocket. So whenever, I bring you here to promote you, it's because you have that mindset, and there's a real movement of patients out there that are taking control of their health, that are, just like you said, challenging the status quo. And there's probably no better example than your back pain patient that's already gone through, the traditional physical therapy, that might have had some chiropractic care, might have had, some surgeries. We know the success rate on the back surgeries. So they're
not good.
Yeah, they're looking, for answers, and they're looking to really take control and, heal themselves, figure this out.
Right.
So let's invest where our money's going to take us the furthest with our healthcare spending. So that is awesome. So tell them, how can they reach you? What is the best way to get in touch with you? I've got clients in 27 states, so I know that you're serving a larger audience now. You're serving a larger client base, and thank goodness for technology. Thank goodness that we're able to do that and reach out and help more people.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so if you're local, or if you would like to set up an online session with us, the easiest way right now is to call our office. It's 727-785-8737. That's 727-785-8737 is our office number. Lori or Claudia will probably answer the phone, and they would schedule you for time to meet with us. Phil Ivanov is my partner. He's been with me for over 10 years, so one of the two of us would do it, but you can ask for whoever you would like to see, and you could set up a consultation with us. The other way is to contact us with the Millen Method.com, or at the Millen Method at gmail.com. And the Millen Method website is also something that's up there. You can take a look and get a little bit more information about where we're going. The digital program we expect to be available hopefully as early as next week. And if you would like, if people do email us or call us, we are going to set up a discounted code so that you can buy the program. We'll have a quick start, and then we also have the full program. My advice to people is, it's going to take time to learn how to connect with your body. So the way we set up this course is so you could be doing it on a regular basis and keep redoing it. So one of the challenges that we've had with people in the clinic is, I'll teach you how to connect to the body, but now you have to do the homework, and you're going to want to keep coming back and going, well, what did he say? Well, the digital program is nice because you can go back and listen to me again without having to go, oh man, I got to pay for another session to go see this guy, kind of thing. But at the same time, what we're trying to do and what we do in our online sessions and our in-person sessions is that we design them around you and how your body is responding, what your understanding is about your own anatomy and physiology, your unique situation. The thing I would say just in closing is that I'm not trying to diminish the value of what anybody out there is trying to do to help you. So surgery, the statistics are showing if you have positive neurology, meaning you have a dropped foot or you have positive neurology where like you have a nerve conduction study that shows you have injury to a nerve, surgery can be very effective. If you have compression on a nerve, surgery can be effective for those kinds of things. Surgery for just simple back pain, typically not. So those are distinctions that surgeons make, not necessarily just us physical therapists. The thing about that is that you need to be having consultation with people who understand you and your unique situation. So that's where I'm advising you as well, to make sure that you seek out intelligent, capable clinical practitioners, whether that be physicians, whether that be chiropractors, physical therapists, that in any of the decision making you make about your health, try to be as educated about your situation so you can make sensible choices.
And I know that you have some great physicians and affiliate partners, chiropractors, doctors that you can recommend as well.
Absolutely.
So I would really just encourage my listeners, the viewers, to reach out. Check out the website millenmethod.com. And then what is the website for Total? Impact?
It's Impact Health and Performance. Is Impact Health Now .com. Yeah, I'm sorry. ImpactHealthNow.com.
Excellent.
So,
and one more time, go ahead and share the office number before we close.
Okay. The office number is 727-744-7580. What am I doing? That's my cell phone. So if you want to call my cell, that's it.
You got the inside.
So you got the inside track. The office number is 727-785-8737.
Excellent. Well, it is always a pleasure to work with you, and I hope to bring you to the audience again, as I know this program is progressing, and I know you're building onto it. And maybe we can, bring the audience some more tips in the future, and how we can basically take control of our health, right, and that healthcare spending. This is Rochelle, Insurance Girl, just for the health of it. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.